Wheat allergy is much more common in children. In adults, a lot of adults think they have a wheat allergy. They may have a problem with wheat, but it's usually not an allergy. There are some very specific types of wheat allergy that can involve exercise and wheat causing a problem, or some conditions where wheat plays a more major role, like eosinophilic esophagitis. So there's a lot of new information coming out about this whole spectrum of wheat. So you have wheat allergy on one end, and then you have celiac disease, and in the middle you have a whole bunch of other conditions. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity is one of those conditions that has had a lot of press lately, and it's still very hard to define. There's a huge lot of people coming through now who seem to have a problem with wheat that's not celiac disease. And sometimes that's because of the kind of food wheat is. So it contains lots of complex fermentable carbohydrates that can cause gastrointestinal problems. But there are some people who do not seem to have that problem either, but they still can't digest wheat. And there is a thought that they may be people who have a problem with gluten, but you just cannot test for it. I think it's very important in children or adults that you make sure that you do a proper diagnostic workup. I think many people think, oh, it's wheat, it's not a proper condition, so just don't bother about it. So I think you need to exclude wheat allergy. You need to do tests for celiac disease. And then if it's clear that neither of those are causing the problem, what I'd probably suggest is that most of the people who come to see me would have already cut wheat out of their diet, because they would have read a lot and they would have looked on the internet and thought, yes, it must be wheat. I would always say to those people, make sure that if they're going to cut wheat out of their diet, that they should do it properly, completely, and look for all sources of wheat, and I'd give them advice about how to do that. And then I would also talk to them about grains that you might think are okay, like spelt, which is wheat. And if you're trying to avoid wheat, you should cut spelt out as well. Some people can tolerate spelt, even though it's a form of wheat, but many people can't. So I would probably say cut it out for 4 to 6 weeks. And then, depending on the symptoms, you could have a planned reintroduction of that food at home. I think it's important to remember that not all wheat is the same. So pasta, if it's made from durum wheat, will have a very different level of wheat proteins in to bread, which is made from a different kind of wheat. Well, I think the problem is that you don't know, and often with delayed reactions it's very hard to know what's caused the problem. People often think it's wheat because we eat a lot of wheat in our diet, so you could have wheat every day, whereas you wouldn't eat watermelon every day, so no one ever thinks it's watermelon. I think that is the problem, is that with a food allergy, you would get symptoms within 1 to 2 hours of eating. With a food intolerance, it's delayed, and it can be delayed for some time. So you might eat a meal and feel bloated, but actually it was what you ate at the last meal that's causing the problem. So I think it's very difficult, and I think this is why you need to have tests to exclude a food allergy. You need to talk to someone who understands what the symptoms of a food allergy are, and to go through your symptoms and say, well, they don't quite fit with a food allergy, but maybe there's another problem here.